Get started. I wish it let me change the thumbnail. I have to do that after the fact, but that's okay. All right. Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another stream/video. This is the first episode of the working title currently is the Backboard Breakdown, but I'm here again with BigSliiime, and we're just going to talk about the NBA playoffs today. I mean, man took a lot of notes, so I'll let him guide this conversation, and we'll go from there. Send this out a couple people.
All right. I'm going to read off what the current series scores are. Currently, the Bucks are 3-0 against the Heat. The Lakers are 2-1 against the Suns. The Nuggets are 2-1 against the Blazers. The Knicks are down 1-2 to the Hawks. The 76ers are 2-0 up to the Wizards. The Jazz and Grizzlies are tied at 1-1. The Nets are down 2-1. Oh, no, they're not down. They're up 2-1 to the Celtics. And the Clips and Mavs are currently 1-1, but the game is currently ongoing. I don't know what the current score is. Do you?
I'll put that on in the background, actually, and then I'll let's see. The Clippers are leading 82-77 with 5 points left in the third.
When I sent you the photo saying I'm taking notes on the Clips and Mavs, they were already at 77. So since then they haven't scored.
Oh no!
I was like, 4 minutes ago.
Clippers might take a game, but there's still a lot of time. So
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I sent it out so we can just go. I didn't take as much notes as you, but I got like 1 or 2 things.
Well, for the Bucks and Heat won, I think the series is over. I think the Bucks are going to sweep them. I think maybe the Heat might win this one, but I doubt it. But I do think the series is over.
Yeah, it seems like something that's going to be a clean sweep. She wanted to talk a little more about one specific player in that series, just because I love hating on him, as we discussed last time.
Jimmy Butler.
Boy, Jimmy Butler has failed his team immensely.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I can't disagree with it.
I have the stats pulled up in case you're curious. Game 1, which was his worst performance, not point-wise, but 17 points. Problem was he shot 18.2% in 46 minutes. So not great. Yeah. Next game, he had 10 points, only 10 points in 32 minutes in the Game 2 loss. And then the game yesterday, they lost. Respectable 19 points, but just not enough. So that Game 1 was the real issue. They could have maybe stolen that game if he was more on his, if he was putting some points up. They only lost by 2 the first game.
Yeah. I don't got much to add. I think the Bucks are just on another level. Yeah.
Our prediction was right. I mean, I don't remember exactly what I said, but that was one of the few I think I will get right. Based off some of these other series, I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
Son.
Oh, fuck. No, I gave the Heat 1. I thought maybe they could have gone. But
the way it's been going, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll fight hard tomorrow's game because, I mean, you never want to be eliminated in 4, but it just doesn't seem likely that they get it done.
Yeah. And the Lakers and Suns, I think if Chris Paul's playing how he is, I doubt they come back. I think the series is over too.
Do you think that shoulder thing throwing him off that much?
I think so. I think it's kind of like remember what Markel was going, where it says it was hurting for him to shoot, but I think this is kind of worse because he can't even dribble, he can't pass. Like it's. I think they should have rested him game 3. Yeah, I think they should have rested him. Like, okay, you might lose, but you at least you'll hit him. At least get him more.
I thought I saw something where he only played like 7 minutes in the second half or something. So.
They took him out right after the second half because he was like.
But now the problem is you're at the point where, I mean, you have to play him if you want a chance to stay in this series.
Like
it's interesting. What do you think about some of the chippiness that's been going on in those games? I keep seeing stuff like that Devin Booker push.
That was like
you think that was overkill?
I think he's getting frustrated, so I understand why he did it, but I think that kind of shows a little bit of his playoff inexperience in a way. You know what I mean?
That they're letting him get under his skin and stuff.
Yeah, and the fact that like if you want to foul him hard, pushing him, I don't know,
I think
man.
I put a little too much pressure on D-Book when I said he was going to be the guy who was going to show up and go off this playoffs. I mean, points-wise, he has for the most part, right? Unless I'm forgetting a dud, but it's just the playoffs are just different, man. And this is luckily he gets to actually experience it, which is something that Phoenix hasn't got to do a lot recently.
Yeah.
So this is good to learn from, but also to be fair to them, they are the 2 seed. So a lot of people will be like, why you're the 2 seed? You should be winning this, but
they're all
obviously,
inexperienced.
Debatably, I don't know much about the history of 7 seeds, but this Lakers team probably is one of the best 7 seeds for a very long time. So not exactly a cakewalk for this Suns team, and they might not be up for the challenge, unfortunately. We'll see what happens next game.
And I mean, what was I say? I think I saw Chris Paul alone has more playoff games than the rest of the team combined. Like that's
And even in those games, it's not like Chris Paul's teams had a lot of success.
Yeah.
At
least in Mexico. Oh, do you know one thing to add? Do you know what time it is? It's lake time, baby.
Oh, no. Is that the props you were talking about? A freaking clock. No. Real quick, I got D-Book's playoff stats that we can look at. Or I thought I did. There it is. ESPN changed on me for some reason. So right now in the postseason, he's averaging 28 points per game, 6 assists almost. The rebounds are low at 4, but that's pretty typical. So not bad. I mean, 28 points is pretty good.
He's doing his part. That's the thing.
Turnovers is right. He's got to work on that. He's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's young stuff. He's just got to work on it. I mean, it could be in a worse spot. It could be 3-0. They still have some fight in this. But we'll see how they show up. I think tomorrow decides the series. You agree with that?
Yeah. If the Suns win, there's a chance. But if the Lakers win, I doubt it.
I don't know if he can come back 3-1 on LeBron. He can do it to you. But I don't
know if he can do it to him, anything else you want to say about that series?
About that series, I mean, not really, except it sucks that there's yet another playoff series that is marred by a Chris Paul injury. I don't know if you remember some of those Rockets teams, man. It was Paul that got injured in those, right? Where they could have.
Yeah, the one I think one of the games he missed, that team
they went
0 for 27 from the 3.
Yeah,
in the last 2 quarters, like that's so awful, especially when that's your strength. And I think they only lost by like 10. Like, can you imagine if they just made 4 of those 27? Yeah.
Dude, that Rocket team had so much potential, but just injuries and chemistry, man. They came close to beating those Warriors a couple times. It's crazy. It's just CP3 he's not exactly the healthiest guy anymore, unfortunately. I hope he heals up well. I hope he has a great game next game. But at the moment, I'd say my prediction is more than likely going to be wrong, if I'm being honest. So Suns, I don't know. Doesn't seem likely anymore.
The Nuggets and Blazers. The Nuggets won the third game pretty convenient.
It was close for a while, the last game. I watched some of it. It was close for a little bit. I know Nurkic fouled out towards the end, and I think that put the lead apart a little bit again. I don't know, man. I had faith in Portland. I still think they can get it done. But definitely showing the fight they have, man.
Out of all the teams that are like down in the series, in their series, I think the only team that I could see maybe coming back, I think it would still be Portland.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have the best chance of coming back, but I don't know. It's looking unlikely, especially since the Nuggets are like clicking pretty well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might be another Portland disappointment.
Yeah,
they're stepping up without Murray, and I think they're just rallying around the guys they have. They're all playing really good. I mean, obviously Lillard's still going to go off, but they need that supporting cast to continue to do what they need to do, and Portland doesn't do that all the time.
Because you could double Lillard, and that might stop him from scoring points. But like, if he's going to pass it, are they going to make the shots? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It feels like it's always kind of been that way with Portland, though.
Yeah.
Lillard's trying to carry as hard as he can. I'm going to pull up. So the game yesterday that they lost by 5, McCollum had 22 and Lillard had 37. So McCollum was the only other player over 20. I will give credit. Cole not Cole Anthony. Oh my gosh, Carmelo. Carmelo had 17 points in 26 minutes, and Norman Powell had 18 points in 36 minutes. So they both did pretty good off
the bench. Yeah.
If you're looking for people to just point out who hurt them this time, would be Robert Covington. Only had 6 points in 39 minutes, which isn't exactly great when you kind of need to step up. And did something happen? I must have missed this. Did something happen to Cantor?
I'm not
or does
sure
he always barely play? Because Bleacher Report shows him at 6 minutes with 1 rebound and 1 missed shot. That was his whole contribution.
He probably got hurt, or he just – I don't know.
Maybe he didn't play him much. Rondell Hollis Jefferson also have 5 minutes with 0 stats, so who knows. But this game looks like if McCollum did a little bit more, Nurkic only had 13 points, but he does some more stuff outside of points, like 13 rebounds there. Him fouling out definitely hurt them, though. You can't do that in the playoffs.
For sure.
But I will say this game was close enough. Like you said, you would still think that Portland kind of they're still got skin in the game.
They're gonna fight back. I can see them winning at least one more.
Is the next game in Portland, or is it still in Denver? Or wasn't the last game?
No, it's Portland. Yeah, this yesterday's game is in Portland.
So is the next game
in Portland
still?
as well, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a chance. They need to win. We talk about this comeback, but if you need to win at least one of your games at home, or you don't have a chance, man, you got to at least split. That's the only way you can get out of that.
For sure.
I don't think there's a lot of big storylines coming out of that game, really, right?
Nah, not really.
I mean, Jokic bounced back, which I kind of criticized his performance from game 1. He definitely fixed that. So, other than that, I think we can move on to next series.
The Knicks today lost to the Hawks, which brought the series to 1-2. And, makes me a little sad. Because it's...
I got
a couple stats for this. Yeah, okay. So, I definitely think the Knicks are in danger of getting... Well, I guess it's not a reverse sweep because they won the last one. But I think they're going to lose 4-1, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawks are just playing better than them. I mean, okay, here's the Knicks were 30% from the 3, which is okay. Like, it's kind of bad, but
it's not what you want.
Yeah, it's not ideal. They had 30 free throws in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
They made 27 of them, which that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But like, Julius Randle went 2 for 15 from the field.
That's who I want to ask you about. Why is he failing the Knicks? What's happening?
Man. I don't know,
bro. The most improved player just laying duds out there. 2 for 15.
He definitely.
Is that worse than pandemic P numbers?
No, actually, it's not. He did worse.
Oh no. Well, this is pretty bad too. If I'm being honest, man, this is that's rough. It's just brutally.
Yeah, and then RJ Barrett too. He had kind of a bad game.
Derrick Rose is the only dude doing numbers for the Knicks right now. I mean, he was a big reason why they won the other game too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
D Rose is carrying them.
RJ Barrett, he went 1 for 7 from the 3. Come on, man.
They're all just shooting back. You can't win this way. I don't know. Can you chalk it up to an off game from the whole team, or is there something deeper going on here, man? Because looking at these numbers, not one of them shot well. Like none of them.
I think
D-Rose did okay.
The free throws are definitely saving them.
13-21 on field goals. Well, field goals are what matter most, man. You can get to the line, but you got to make the regular shot.
I'm saying like the free throws are what helped them make it look worse than it actually was.
Yeah,
it's the only thing that's kind of helping them, but you still have to knock down the shots, especially the threes. And also, they had 14 assists to 11 turnovers, which is kind of bad. Considering the Hawks also had 11 turnovers, but they had 28 assists.
Yeah, well, I think if you want to narrow it down to the most basic stat you are, usually when you look at who wins a game, field goal percentage to me is huge. And the field goal percentage, the Hawks shot 52% the game today, and the Knicks shot 36%, and that's a huge difference. You shoot less than 40%. 50% to me has always been like the standard. I mean, 36 is rough, man. And when you're most improved, the guy who's supposed to be like your main guy at the moment is going 2 for 15. You're gonna struggle. You just are.
What was the difference in rebounds?
Shout out Allen right there, shouting us out. Respect Allen, appreciate it. Okay, rebounds. So the Knicks actually had more rebounds. They had 45.
Damn.
The Hawks aren't much of a rebounding too. Like I said, the Hawks.
And they got Capella though. That's why I expect them to get a good amount, but
the biggest difference here was the assists. So the way they passed the ball, they spread the ball around, just offense basically. They both had 11 turnovers. They had similar rebounds. The Knicks actually had 6 steals to the Hawks 2. The biggest difference was, I mean, Hawks shot 59% from 3, which is off. That's hard to do. And 52 from the field. They just hit their shots today. So this might not be what happens the whole series. I'd imagine it's hard to beat 59% from 3. I highly doubt they do that again next game. So I think the Knicks still are in this, but my pick was the Hawks originally. I'm probably going to stick with that. I think they might just be too much for this. Like, this Knicks team is good, but if we're being honest, they kind of overperform. Just on paper, they're overperforming.
They probably would have been, what were they, the 4th seed? I think probably the 6th or 7th probably should do them a little better. Or shows how good they are.
When you look at their roster, they just play better than they are, man. And sometimes that works, and sometimes in these big games it can hurt you, you know?
Yeah.
So when D Rose, who I love D Rose, but if we're being honest, he's supposed to be more of like a 6-man kind of role player nowadays. He's putting up 39 minutes and is carrying your team. Maybe your roster isn't as good as it needs to be to go on a playoff run yet. I'm happy that Knicks fans are excited, but they really need to not get their hopes up here, man. Speaking of that, I forgot about this. This is not on-court related, but I figured we should talk about this a little bit. We think about all the fans throughout the league. There's been a lot of issues the last couple of games. Since we're on this one, I'll specifically talk about the fact that they spit on Trae Young.
That's just – oh, my God.
To me, that was the worst one of all the offenses we heard about. Like, by
that
far.
One, the popcorn.
You got popcorn and Westbrook. Apparently, John Morant's parents were verbally assaulted.
Oh, yeah. They were getting yelled at like face to face.
Racist remarks and just vulgar stuff in general. It's been rough, man. Like, I get it. Hey, fans, you're back. It's exciting.
Yeah, but it's like you got to calm down, bro. Like, you got to relax.
I've never understood it, man. It's like I get
paid all that money to go there, and then you're gonna do this stupid shit and get banned. Like what?
You know, like even chirping, I'm okay with chirping to the players, like chirping the parents,
family.
And the main thing you can't fly is the physically throwing stuff or hitting the players. That's just crazy, man. Like the popcorn one's bullcrap too, but the spitting one, that dude should actually be more than banned. Like that's at least a misdemeanor or something. Like if you did that, I'm pretty sure it's an actual crime. So I hope that guy actually gets charged. For the popcorn guy, like I get Westbrook's frustration and it was bullcrap, but I think him just getting banned for life is probably enough of a punishment.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, I think that's pretty.
I will say Westbrook. I get he was mad, but I don't think he did the right thing either there. Like if they let him go into the you think he just mouse in the pouch?
Yeah, he definitely would have started swinging, bro.
Like you gotta calm down. And I get it, and he gets a lot of people probably do it a lot to him, so it builds up. But like,
yeah, for sure,
you can't go into the crowd no matter what happens. Like they could be wrong, but you can't go to the crowd.
Yeah.
Alex, the Celtics did win. We will talk about that game. We're going through the West first, though. Obviously, Tatum, one of the league's bright stars right there. Dude's a freaking beast. He's still pretty young. Scored 50. Real quick, I saw the stat. I don't know if you saw it yet. I think they said Tatum was like
one of
the youngest players ever to score 50 in a playoff game, or he's like the third ever to do it at his age or something like that.
I got a stat right here if you want me to read them out. Tatum went 50 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Yeah.
Wait.
Let's just talk about that Celtics-Nets game. Celtics-Nets game, then we'll transition right over.
Hold on. I got it reversed. It was 6 rebounds and 7 assists, not the other way around.
Yeah.
5-11 from the 3. The Celtics might have won, but Kemba definitely needs to step it up. You can't go 0 for 7 from 3. You can't do that.
3 of 14 in the field goal just in general.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, here's a stat I found that was interesting. out of all the Celtics starters, only one player had a positive plus minus. The rest of them were negative, and it was Evan
Tatum?
Fournier.
Oh wow!
I'm pretty sure Tatum was negative. Like it was in the 10s. Like it surprised me. I was like, "What? Like, can you pull it up right now?"
I'm on Bleacher Report, so theirs is a little different. Their bench guys have positives, so they got Langford and Williams in the plus, and Tatum's +1, which considering the fact he scored 50 is a little crazy.
Yeah.
Fournier's 11. So of the starters, the only one with more than a +1 is Fournier. Tatum and Smart got +1, but when Kemba was on the court and when Tristan Thompson were on the court, which they seem like the usual corporates, they were -15 and -16.
That's weird. It's a good thing they won, but it's crazy.
Hey, shout out the former Hoosier Romeo Langford had a +21, so shout out. 6 points.
The only reason the Celtics didn't lose is because Kyrie had kind of a bad game. Because I still think the Nets are going to win in 5. Like the only reason they lost is because Kyrie had a bad game.
Oh, I'm looking at Kyrie's stats: 16 points and 6 of 17.
6 of 17 from the free throw, 2 for 6 from the 3, which is it's okay.
Yeah,
but like in 40 minutes, come on, man.
Well, I guess what happened is you kind of talked about this. I think when we did the predictions, didn't you say that? Well, a lot of people talking about Harden was being more of a distributor recently and is kind of taking a back seat. Well, this game, coincidentally, the game they lost, he was their leading scorer.
41 points, 41, 7 and 10.
It's just interesting to think about that. Maybe the one game he decides to go off is the game they lose. I'm not saying it's because of him. It's just kind of interesting to look at.
I think
he did impress, though. I'll give him that.
Kyrie was having kind of a bad game, but
yeah,
I think the thing is they only use 3 or 4 players on their bench. Like they're one of the deepest teams in the league, and they barely use their players, man.
Oh, here,
I think that's what hurt them.
This is pretty funny. So your bench guys right here. This is the Bleacher Report's version of the bench. This hurt him apparently too. Landry Shamet. We're talking about culprits today. 19 minutes. You want to guess his stat line?
0 points.
Yes. 0 rebounds, 0 assists. He shot 1 3 and missed it in 19 minutes of playing. He was just the embodiment of a ghost. I could have done the same thing Landry Shamet did. I could have went out there and the 3. The rest of the bench also not impressive. Claxton, 16 points, 4 points. Brown, 15 minutes, 2 points. And Johnson, 10 minutes, 5 points. So the bench did nothing.
Yeah. Blake Griffin, 25 minutes, 4 points. 25 minutes, 4 points. He's supposed to be like a stretch big now, right? But he's 0 for 1 from the 3. Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
I saw the key. So this is basically, you chalked it up. You summed it up perfectly. The reason the Nets lost today is because the big 3 did their jobs for the most part. Kyrie was off a little bit, and no one was there to pick up the slack. Even Joe Harris, who went off in game 1, I believe, 8 points tonight, which just isn't good enough. It's not good enough to win. Yeah. This was always going to be an issue. Depth is always an issue when you have the 3 superstars on your team. You need them to at least be decent and do something. And I'm sorry, 0 points from Shamet, 4 from Griffin, and 8 from Harris. Harris is supposed to be a shooter, and he was 2 of 7 from 3 tonight. It's not good enough. I still think they win this series pretty easy, probably in 5.
For sure.
But hopefully this is a lesson there. You guys gotta be on at least one of them. I mean, if you think about it, if Harris was on tonight, they probably would have won. If just one of those guys contributed, they could have won. It took a freaking another 50-point game from Tatum just for them to will him to victory. You know, it's not the Celtics. I respect that a lot, and I respect Tatum for his performance. But the only way you can win is if one guy drops 50. It's not a recipe for success. So, You're definitely right about Kemba, though. Celtic Kemba's just not as fun to watch as
Kemba.
What happened to him?
I think it's one of those things where he was on such a bad team that he was just. I think it was because he was on such a bad team that his stats were kind of
he was the
saturated. Guy. Yeah, and now that he went somewhere where he's not the main person, he can't function. No. He didn't work with. Was he there when Kyrie was there? I think so, right?
No, that was they basically swapped.
Yeah. Yeah, but Kemba, this is his second year there, right? Or third?
Mm-hmm.
Second.
It might be third or fourth. It's been a while.
No, yeah. He was there for the 18-19 season and then 19-20. Yeah, this is his third year. I think every single year he's gotten worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he's kind of getting
Not great.
kind of up there in age, but like he's still young. You know what I mean? I think is he
Yeah.
30? Maybe. Like I don't know, man.
31. He's 31.
Yeah, definitely overpaid.
He
But
averaged 19 points this year, which isn't bad. So I'll give him that. But in the playoffs, not doing enough.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think the Hornets definitely did the right decision by trading or not offering him the super max because this is what he wanted. I was like,
I think it's kind of weird that the Hornets actually did. They weren't bad. They were in a good spot. They were like the 4 seed before Gordon Hayward got hurt.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think about. But I guess that's on them for trusting Gordon Hayward to be healthy. So you can't do that anymore, unfortunately.
They got him to a pretty good deal though.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have him for a while, and he's not like.
I think they overpaid him a little bit.
Yeah, but his contract isn't like insane to where they can't trade him if they need to. You know what I mean?
I thought he was making $40 million. Maybe the guarantees are different or something. I have to look it up. But it's off topic. Every now and then we go off topic. So it's fine.
What's the game we haven't talked about yet?
Say any other last words you want about that series, or you think we covered it for the most part?
I think we did pretty good.
Great game by Tatum, but it's unsustainable. So I still think the Nets win in 5, probably maybe 6, sure. But probably 5.
Yeah. Jazz. Actually, no. 76ers and Wizards. 76ers are up 2-0, but yeah, there's no chance the Wizards will win. In my opinion.
Sweet.
Over. And that's all I read about it. Over. Fuck Philly fans. And that's all the notes I wrote down.
Real quick about that Celtics. We got a question from Alex just came in. I'm curious. I'm actually curious about your thoughts because I swear they've been talking about Stevens leaving the Celtics for like 3 years now. He basically reaffirmed his commitment to him. There was a rumor he actually turned down like a huge contract from the Indiana Hoosiers, the college team, to join them. So he's committed to the Celtics, but the question is, are the Celtics
committed to him? I doubt it.
You don't think so? I would say it'll be very funny if he does get fired.
Because I think the thing is, it's pretty because with a team like the Celtics, they're consistently good. They're always in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They have good players. I think if it's not working out, it has to be the coach at that point. You know what I mean?
He's got to be on the hot seat, kind of like how the Bucks coach has been on the hot seat for a while, just because of playoff performances.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know the way because, like I said, the whole contract thing about rumors of him going to IU, the coach, and then it getting turned down and stuff. It made me think that maybe he has full faith that the Celtics are going to keep him, and he knows something we don't. I don't know if that's true. To me, the biggest issue for him is I swear we've heard reports like multiple times the last couple of years that like he doesn't seem to have firm control of his locker room.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you remember the stories media members that you can hear shouting from the locker room and stuff, like guys fighting each other. Like, it just seems like the chemistry's not exactly great. I feel like maybe depending on how the Celtics owners feels, they might give him like a break this year purely because Jaylen Brown's out. Yeah. But we'll see what – I don't know. I would imagine he's got to at least be on thin ice. But like I said, people have been talking about him being fired for a while now, and the Celtics haven't done it yet. So I guess I'll believe it when I see it.
The thing with that is, like, I feel like every time a team's kind of like either underperforming just slightly, the media and the fans, they immediately go to the coach. Because if it's like a superstar that's not doing good, like, it's hard to get rid of him or like trade him or anything. But the coach – you could find another coach.
I don't know. To me, the Celtics are in such a weird spot, man. Like, I don't know what it is. If it's just their roster,
they're stuck in like the middle,
but they're not good enough to win. It's like you got Tatum and Brown, who are awesome, and obviously Tatum proves he can be a beast. But the rest of the group doesn't seem to be able to do enough, and I'm not quite sure what they need to do. So it's a weird spot. It'll definitely be interesting to follow this offseason, is what I will say. And another Allen thing, we talked about the Lakers game already, but we got a bandwagoner who's rooting for the Lakers. So congrats, Allen. You happy? Good time. I imagine the man hasn't seen a second of NBA basketball this year, but that's okay. We root for the Lakers. Even though he's a Bears fan, he's going to be a Lakers fan too. Anyways. Speaking of that, you need to be a Timberwolves fan.
Think about it, bro. I'm a Lakers fan. LA. I'm a Vikings fan. That's Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You're everywhere, dude.
I'm a fucking White Sox fan. That's Chicago. What other sport is there? I mean, I guess for soccer, United, but that's in England. That's
And you
a
haven't
completely
figured out
different
your hockey team yet, but you will. We'll get there. Speaking of, did you see that apparently the rumor, I guess it's not technically confirmed, but they're going to have Chuck talk hockey a lot on TNT.
thing.
He's a hockey fan. I don't know if you knew that or
I
not.
don't know.
He's done interviews during like the Stanley Cup and stuff. He's a big hockey guy, so apparently he's gonna make appearances. That'll be fun. Real quick, we got Alex clowning you, I guess. Obviously, he knows you do like the Lakers, but he's trying to call you out. Even though he rides LeBron probably more than you do, so it's. I think Alex is a Rockets fan, so moment to suck him. I got.
Okay.
But
For a second.
is what it is. Yeah, he froze on mine too, but we're back now, so it's all good. All right, so we talked Celtics.
We just got 2.
We moved on to Philly. I guess we should talk about Philly a little bit. Do you have any stats from the Philly series at all?
No, I didn't.
I'll look because I'm curious how has Westbrook been doing? I kind of want to see that.
I have a feeling he's not shooting well, but he's getting points. You know what I mean?
Let's check. I'm pulling him up on my phone.
I'd be surprised if he's made more than 2 threes in the whole series.
So, oh wow, he had a stinker in Game 2. 20% field goal percentage from Westbrook Game 2. So the 2 games. Nope, I figured it out. Westbrook is not doing enough, man. Yeah. Maybe that factored into some of his anger these couple games, but I'll give you his stat line real quick, and then we can keep going. So Game 1. He had 16 points. The go was 6 turnovers. He did have 14 assists. So the assists are still there because he had 14 assists that game. Game 2, 10 points, 4 turnovers, 11 assists. So he's assisting well. But the problem is his team isn't that great. So when he's dishing out these assists, he's assisting the people who aren't that great. And he's shooting bad. 20%'s awful. And the turnovers are an issue. So I guess we can go from there. I don't think he's done enough. I think it's part of the issue. But if we're being honest, I think even if he was on his game, it would be hard to beat Philly.
I think
but he's got to do
Russell Westbrook has to be one of the greatest ever regular season players. 4 straight years of trouble of triple doubles, but come on, bro, you can't do it in the playoffs. You haven't. What was it about? Ever since he lost the 3-1 lead to the Warriors, he just hasn't been able to do it in the playoffs.
I mean, shooting 20% on Game 2 is just
come on, man.
I'm gonna give you Beal stats too. I'll be interested to see what he did. Just a reminder for Bradley Beal, he averaged 31 points in the regular season, and then we'll see how he's done so far. So he's still on it. He's carrying the Wizards hard right now. He had 33 points Game 1 and 33 points Game 2. The Philly defense has to be suffocating them, though. That has to be part of the issue because Beal also had 6 turnovers in Game 1. So
yeah, Philly's defense
is solid, right? That's part of the reason they're doing so good. I'd expect nothing less from a Doc Rivers coach team. So
for sure.
Is Embiid going off? Is that what it is?
Probably.
Has Ben Simmons shot a 3 yet this year?
I mean, who's the Celtics big man? Who's gonna stop Embiid? There's few players in the league that could Wizards. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wizards, it's
still same shit.
Thomas, right? Whoever it is. And then I got that white kid from Michigan or something. Oh, yeah. Either way, they ain't built for it. Oh, real quick, we got another free agent prediction. 76ers go after Lowry. What would you think of that move? Smart move?
It's a smart move for the 76ers, and I think for Lowry, if you want to go to a team that's missing something that, they definitely need a point guard. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got Ben Simmons, but
let Ben just attack the paint all the time. That's what he's good at.
Because he can't shoot. I mean, Lowry's an okay shooter, but he's definitely way better than.
I think that'd be a huge. I would hate it because I hate the Sixers and all Philly fans. Yeah. Oh, now we get to. I guess we already talked about it a little bit, but Philly fans are the worst, and them pouring popcorn on Westbrook. Injured Westbrook also showed it. But I wonder if he'll be available next game. I haven't heard much about that injury report. I imagine he'll be okay though, because he was injured, but he's still not fully injured enough that he could try to chase after the fans. So maybe he's not too bad.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Just that game. Saying we talked about Lowry maybe going to the Sixers, and then I brought up.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think of it. What was the team that could? I mean, if the Lakers don't get Schroeder back, they could probably go for Lowry.
I imagine Vegas odds is Lowry's probably the favorite to LA right now.
Because I'm trying to think of a team that needs a point guard that is in a position to get one. And
Philly
I
makes
can't think of any. Philly definitely makes sense. The Lakers kind of make sense.
The Pacers would never do it, but it'd be fun. But we don't really need it yet. We're pretty good at guard. If healthy, we're good at guard.
I mean, if Kawhi dips, the Clippers might be able to get him.
Well, is he a free agent after? Is it next
player option?
Oh, okay.
Player option this year.
You think he dips? If
they lose to the Mavericks, 4-0, I think he's out for sure.
But where'd he go?
If they lose, regardless.
Where's he go? Oh, Alex. Oh, real quick, Alex with the prediction for Lowry, I believe, would be the Knicks. Think that makes sense? Who's their point guard?
I don't know who starts over Derrick Rose. I know Derrick Rose comes off the bench.
I think Lowry just makes sense because right now Rose is their best point guard. So I think
they're playing him a lot for a 6-man.
I think the Knicks, just for their sake and for their fans' sake, I think they need to be aggressive anyways. So a guy like Lowry, just get the top free agent available. I think that'd be huge for New York.
Yeah, and he's a good defender too. That's
screw it. Kawhi to New York. I'm calling it.
I mean, they do.
Where would he go? That's the hard part. It's like, where would he go?
I think at this point, Kawhi, do you think he cares about money, or do you think he'd take a cut? I think he might be able to. I think he might take a cut.
Yeah, I don't know where he could go. It'll be very interesting to say the least. That'll be the biggest story of the offseason for sure if he opts out this time.
Because here's the thing, next year's free agency class is insane. So if he wants to get paid, I think now is the time to do it.
Yeah,
because there's going to be a lot more options next year. Yeah,
he'd be the top guy by far. So I
would be so surprised if he signed an extension or if he re-signed with the Clippers. It would blow my mind.
I just don't know where he would go. It's so tough to read Kawhi still. I still don't know what he wants. Is he trying to do super team?
I think he's done. Yeah.
Does he just want to live in LA? Because if he wants to live in LA, he could stay with the Clippers still.
The Lakers.
Will the Lakers take him now?
No.
First off, can he even afford it? Secondly, did he burn the bridges?
Yeah. I think
apparently Alfred – is it Alfred Payton? Is that the name? The starter?
Payton, yeah.
He's the starter for the Knicks. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, so obviously Lowry would be way better than Payton. No disrespect to Payton, but,
No, I mean, it's Kyle Lowry. He's one of the best.
We'll have to do free agency.
We'll
have to do a full thing of free agency predictions at some other episode. That's always fun to do, even though this is
quick note on Kawhi. I saw on Undisputed that Shannon mentioned that he hasn't been that guy, the defensive player of the year, Kawhi, since the San Antonio. And I think he realized when he went to Toronto and he became the scorer, he's like, damn, all these people like me. I'm getting more money. The New Balance deal, he getting paid. And I think he doesn't want to be that guy defensively anymore, which I think is the reason why
he hasn't had a great series either, just not fully.
Which I think that's why he doesn't want to take Luka, because he doesn't want to be the defensive guy anymore, and I don't think he has it in him anymore. Because he tried in the second game and Luka still won off. Oh, well, you want to talk about that game now since we're on it?
We can. I'm trying to. How much time is left in the game? Because we might want to wait a little bit.
You got to get it.
I think it's coming to an end soon.
It's got to be close to the fourth quarter, yeah. But the last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, that's probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's actually. Let's save this one for last.
All right,
right now the Clippers are up, by the way, so they might actually get a game in. So they might win. Might be bounce back. Stats wise, if you're curious, we can see how the Clippers are doing right now. Oh, there's Kawhi. Well, good thing Kawhi is listening to us. Kawhi has 30 points.
I'm an idiot. I don't know what. I mean, I wrote it down on my notes that the Clippers and Mavs were 1-1, but they're 2-0, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Dallas leads 2-0. But it might be 2. Right now, it's looking like it'll be 2-1 after
2-1. Yeah, that's what I had it.
The reason the Clippers are winning is because their guys showed up. PG with 29 and Kawhi with 30. So Kawhi's bounced back too. He's putting up points. Obviously, these stats can't tell me what he's doing defensively, but those two are scoring right now, and they got the team on their back because the next highest scorer outside of those two is Reggie Jackson with a whopping 13 points. So that's another thing. Their bench is very random. 102 to 94. Clippers are up. 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think maybe there might be a comeback.
Their bench is
Depends
so.
on
That's the Clippers. I guess you know what? Screw it. Let's just talk about the Clippers for a bit. We can come back to it. What is up with their bench, man? To me, that's one of the big reasons. Like it's
they're kind of deep, but like they don't play well.
I think
they're not playing by their expectations.
Well, the problem is they're all like they're guys where you know the name, but to me they're all older now and they don't do the same.
Yeah.
Like, just listen to some of these names. I mean, Reggie Jackson, Nicholas Batum, Rajon Rondo. Like these guys would be great like 5 years ago.
Rondo's like the perfect person to bring on if you're not doing good because he'll get the ball moving. And
yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, he's not that guy.
Like they sign these names, and you're like, oh, cool, it makes sense, and then they're not who they used to be. So you're not getting the production you'd want from the bench. I think they need to get younger, the whole team. I think that'd be a big help. Keep your freaking draft picks, which I don't think they did actually, but they just need to find some young bench guys, and I think it'd go a long way.
Yeah.
Because right now, just looking at this lineup, I mean, Kawhi, Paul George, Marquise. Is it Marquise or what other?
It's Marquise or Markeith, but I think Markeith is the one and the Clippers.
Well, it's one of them, and they're both old, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Batum, Rondo, Pat Bev. There's a lot of old guys, and Luke Kennard has no minutes, which that surprises me. Is he hurt? Did I miss something?
I don't know, but he's getting paid $16 million a year, so like he better be playing. You know?
I mean, he's supposed to be a shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the Clippers, and I have written down that I think the Clippers are going to win Game 3, but probably lose Game 4. Yeah. And then when they go back to the Staples Center?
Yeah, for now. They're still building their other arena, which will be fun to see when it happens.
I think that's going to be the do or die game, and I think the
and then real quick,
going to win.
We got Alex with him saying that one of the main reasons the Clippers are struggling is they let Lou Will and Harrell leave. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
first off, did they really let Montrez leave, or did he just snake them? I thought he kind of like forced his way out of there.
I mean, okay, he was going to be a free agent regardless, but from what I remember hearing is that they were offering him kind of a bad deal, or not as much money because like.
Now, didn't he sign a worse deal with the Lakers though?
Yeah, but that's because like they were offering him kind of shitty money, and then they were all trying to blame him for like their like collapse, and he was like, "Man, fuck y'all, I'm getting this ring."
Just saying, from the outside, it looks a little spiteful, but it probably was spiteful, but maybe they deserved it. So,
but I think it was also kind of spiteful from the Mavs, not the Mavs, the Clippers, because they were really trying. They were all trying to blame Montrez. So put PG.
But to be fair, to kind of comment on what Alex was talking about, he called it a mistake, but I don't know if it was that much of a mistake because they're basically in the same boat they were last year. You know,
I think so, but like I definitely think they definitely needed. Like at least Lou Williams is scoring off the bench. That's bigger. That's bigger than Montrez.
I still think they do need to get younger though. They just need to do it the right way. I just don't. When you replace Lou Will and Harrell, but the guys you bring in like Batum. It's like you gotta at least get younger if you're doing that. You know. Yeah. I mean, Harrell was one of their younger guys. I thought. It's not great. So it's a 7-point game now with 4:43 left. By the way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Mavs are coming. We haven't talked about the Jazz and Grizzlies game. If you want to talk about that for a little.
Yeah, there's a couple things we haven't talked about yet. What do you think about that? The Jazz won. I don't think it was super convincing though, was it?
No, I wouldn't say super convincing, but it was definitely like a hey, we got Mitchell back kind of a game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not changing my pick. I'm sticking with the Jazz. I know you picked Memphis. You wavering at all?
I think it won't go to 7. But I do think the Jazz are going to win it in 6. I can see the Grizzlies winning one more, but that's about it. I mean
shout out Ja. Ja's still having a great series. I think he put up like 38 last game.
I mean, Memphis were 35% from the 3, which is about average, but like you don't really want average in the playoffs. You want to be good. Yeah. Especially since the Jazz shot 49% from the 3.
That's pretty good. But like we're talking, when the Jazz are on, they're tough to beat. Like they got guys like Bogdan. When he's hitting those shots, he'll put up points. He'll kill you from 3.
And then the Grizzlies had 38 free throws and made 29, 76%. Pretty good.
That's the best.
Yeah, and then 11 turnovers to 20 assists compared to the Jazz's 12 turnovers to 29 assists.
When I made this pick, to me, it was as simple as the Jazz roster is just better than the Memphis roster. Ja's a beast.
They got 9 more rebounds.
Utah's way deeper. They just are.
Oh, and John Morant, he went 2 for 7 from the 3. He's not known as a good 3-point shooter. He's kind of known as a bad one. But, like, come on. If you're not making them, don't shoot them. You're good at driving to the paint. Just do it. They'll probably get a foul, and you'll make those.
I think some of those shots was probably just the fact that they were down, so he had to, you know?
Oh, and the one thing from the Jazz, because I'm kind of nitpicking, Jordan Clarkson, 1 for 6 from 3. Come on, man. You're supposed to be the 6th man of the year.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about him winning 6th man of the year, by the way? You agree with that pick?
I'm not mad at it. I don't know. I really don't know who else will probably deserve it. I can't think of it.
Was another Jazz player, and then I think a Knicks player was the top 3 or something like that.
Probably Derrick Rose.
The only thing that, you know what? Now that I think about it, give it to Rose. Let Rose win.
Fuck it. Just give it to Rose again.
It's kind of fun. It's weird to think about that. They were all on a really bad Lakers team. And now you got one of those Lakers winning most improved player on the Knicks and the other one winning 6th man of the year with the Jazz. It's like they all got better when they left. I mean, Ingram and all them. Russell.
The Lakers organization at that time was just bad in general.
They drafted better than they thought, apparently.
I mean, 4 years in a row, you can't get Kobe. Kobe wasn't Kobe towards the end of his years, but he's still good. And you couldn't get him enough to even get the 8th seed? Come on.
It's funny to think about, though, because if you put that roster together now, all those guys I mentioned, that's probably at least an 8th seed in the West. Yeah. Like, that's a good team.
Especially, and I'd just add Kobe in there, too, for sure.
Just for fun, yeah. It's weird. So, Jazz-wise, this is kind of just what I expected to happen. I figured the Jazz would just be too much for Memphis, and as the series went on, as soon as Mitchell came back, I figured it's a wrap. So, it's a gentleman's sweep. You let them win one game, and then you sweep them from there. So I'm Jazz in 5.
I agree.
We got a couple other series left. I can't remember which ones, or if we even do.
Okay. I think we talked about them all, except for the Clippers and Mavs one. I'll just okay. But the things that have been done, they're from Game 2, so like I'll talk about them.
I think
honestly,
better.
I think. I don't know what the Clippers could do, honestly, because they're not okay. Yeah, their bench is kind of their issue, but like,
well, the starters have been cold too.
Yeah, not really. Not at least in Game 2. Paul George was 28 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Kawhi 41, 6 and 4.
Oh wow.
The only thing, PG went 1 for 7 from the 3. I know Kawhi did better. I didn't have it written down. But, like, the thing that hurts him is that, like, they let Luka start the game off really good, and then they try to contain him in the second half. And it kind of works because, like, I think in the fourth quarter last time, Luka made 2 points. Yeah. But, like, here's the thing. You can stop him, but you're not – you double him, you leave someone wide open. Like, is your only strategy to hope that
He's
Tim
off?
Hardaway Jr., Finney Smith, Porzingis, and them have a bad game? Because they didn't.
Well, that's
had 28 points, 6 for 8 from the 3. Finney had kind of a bad game shooting wise, but he's still like you can't hope for that every game. Porzingis 20 points, 3 for 4 from the 3. Fucking Cleaver made 2 threes, and one of them was like from range. It's like, bro, come on, man.
Wait, real quick, where you're talking about that Clippers strategy. Currently, that's really the reason they're winning right now. I can show you these stats real quick. So Doncic, Luka's doing his thing, 37 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. So basically a triple double. What's a door? That's stupid. Anyways, but the guys you talked about who need to step up when that happens, Tim Hardaway Jr. has 12 points in 37 minutes. Finney Smith has 6 points in 34 minutes. So right now it's working.
It's working like this time, but is it going to work in the – yeah, come on. You can't rely on that.
And I mentioned the bench with the Clippers. To me, that's still an issue when you think about it because the only way they win is if Paul George and Kawhi both have to go off and have crazy games. And it's not fair to ask them of that. Like, I get their stars, but they can't drop 40 every game. Drop 40 every game. And they have to do that in order for this Clippers team to compete. And it's just not sustainable. It just isn't.
Yeah. I mean, they let him score 53% from the 3, and I think in the first game it was also 50-something. Like you can't let that happen, and you definitely can't just hope that they have a bad game.
Yeah.
Like
So right now, that's their only strategy, and it might work for this game. It'd be very curious to see if it works any other times, though, because I imagine Hardaway will get more than 12 points most games. Same with Smith and all these other guys.
Because in game 2, out of all the threes they took, I can't remember how many it was, but I heard Shannon Sharp. He said that out of all of them, 8 of them were wide open. Those are the ones they made. Like, so they had others that were wide open that they just missed. But it's like you can't leave them. You can't let them take 8 wide open threes in the playoffs, especially when you're down 1-0 to them.
The Clippers were a team that used to pride themselves on defense, man. They lost some of that.
It's crazy.
All right, real quick, since we're in between, we mentioned all these series a little bit. Don't know how many people are watching, but if you want to drop any topics or questions, we'll be happy to talk about those and answer them. We got at least one from Alex for now, so we'll talk about that. He mentioned that A-Rod bought the team, referring to the Timberwolves, and there's also some of that lawsuit stuff came out and stuff that revealed that when A-Rod and his partners bought the team, there was no clause stating that they had to stay in Minnesota. So what do you think? Do you think they get moved? And if you do, what some locations you think could be possible?
Okay.
Two-parter, basically. Do you think they even would move, and where would they move?
I think if they would move, they're not going to move this year because they need a stadium, and also I think moving a team that has to be at least a 3-year process. You know what I mean?
Probably 2 or 3. But you could set it and you could get the motion started.
Yeah. I think they might because how many fans are actually in Minnesota?
I don't know. I'd have to. While you're talking, keep giving your opinions.
Because it's okay. A-Rod, he's definitely gonna want he's gonna want to move somewhere where they know they're gonna have a good amount of fans. Maybe a city that's kind of been hoping for a basketball team to move there. And I can only really think of 2. And I think the first one is definitely Seattle. I think Seattle would be a pretty good market because the city definitely misses the days that they had the Supersonics. I mean, there has to be a couple of stadiums in Seattle, that they could probably use, and then it's a good place to live.
Seattle, Seattle makes.
Because think about it, if you're a free agent and you got an offer to go play Seattle or Minnesota,
Minneapolis,
you're probably gonna Minneapolis. You're probably gonna take Seattle because here's another thing that might not affect too many players, but I know there's no income tax there. So the players are getting more money.
Either of them a premier location, but I will say this: you talk about the stadium. Coincidentally, since Seattle's getting an NHL team that starts playing next season, they just remodeled their whole arena, so there's space for the Sonics to come back. Another thing, you mentioned attendance numbers, so I found the numbers, and now all this speculation makes a lot more sense. So in terms of percentage, remember, there's 30 teams in the league. In terms of capacity percentage for 2020, I didn't do this year because this year's a mess with teams, some allowing, some not. They were second to last in the entire league, only filling up 79.4% of their stadium on average. Wow. The only team worse was the Pistons. The only team in the whole league.
Yeah.
And I did percentage because that's more fair because obviously if your arena is bigger, your total is big. But just for fun, if you do the average amount of people, they're dead last at 15,066.
Oh, Jesus.
So, not great to say.
I think, Seattle is definitely one of them. I think they could move to, or maybe
Kansas City's mentioned a lot. I don't live there.
It kind of makes sense, because
they don't have a team in Missouri.
No.
And when you do Kansas City, you kind of get a little bit of both states there. So it makes sense. Louisville's always been an interesting spot to me. I don't know if they'd ever do it, but basketball is huge in Kentucky, just like it's huge in Indiana. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't want to share a stadium.
Kentucky doesn't have a team,
Yeah, if they don't want to share a stadium with the Louisville Cardinals, which they're a college team, obviously, but they have a very nice arena, so you could share with them just to get started. But you could also just build your own arena there if you wanted to. So there's a lot of options. Vegas, too, that's always been talked about. They have an arena. And Louisville, the only problem with Louisville, which makes me think the other 3 options are more likely, is that Minnesota's a West team, and I'd imagine they want to keep them in the West.
Yeah, on that side.
Seattle and Vegas make way more sense as a West team than Minnesota ever did.
I mean, think about Memphis, though. Memphis is a West team.
Vegas seems like the most common thing. It seems like the owners would approve of that, and the NBA would approve of that. So to me, I'm guessing, now that I think about it, if a move happens, Vegas seems like the most likely spot.
I mean, the Raiders just moved there.
They have an arena. Obviously they have an arena because they have a WNBA team. They have a hockey team, and it's a really nice place to play. So they could do it quick. It'll be curious. I guess it's just something to keep an eye on. A-Rod and his group, it's interesting. You try to think of maybe A-Rod, but the problem is both places he's associated with already have teams. Like he lives in Miami.
That's way in the East. Yeah, you're not going to have a West team.
And he played in New York. It's like neither of those places need another team. So it'd have to be somewhere completely different. So if I had to bet, if they moved at all, I'd say I don't know. But if they did move, Vegas probably makes the most sense. Vegas or Seattle. Seattle would be huge for press alone, just bringing the Sonics back. But Vegas, every sports league in the country has become super invested in Vegas, mainly because of sports gambling is growing and becoming legal in more and more places. And you want a team there.
Think about this. Let's say you're DraftKings. You see the Minnesota Timberwolves are like moving to the Las Vegas and they're going to build an arena. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's a perfect opportunity.
What's the thing? Don't even have to build an arena. Like I mentioned, T-Mobile Arena is there, where Vegas plays, and the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team, who I feel like the NBA should just say, you know what, we're taking that team name, and then they just steal it. Yeah, what would an NBA team in Vegas be named? That's something fun to think about.
Coyote.
Gambling, right?
Gambling. I think Aces sounds good.
All right, we just have to steal it from the WNBA. You're like, hey,
they could be like spades or clubs, another card related thing.
But nah, well, let's take the Aces. I mean, the NBA basically keeps the WNBA alive. So like, hey, give us the Aces or we'll just pull our funding. And they're like, oh, okay. It'd be interesting, but yeah, I think Vegas makes sense. It'd be fun. The NBA, I feel like every sports league needs to expand at some point. It just makes sense. The country's getting bigger, the population's growing, sports are growing. I think it just makes sense to expand, and NBA has been kind of quiet on all of that. So I think at the very least, relocating your worst attendance performing franchise just makes sense. So see what happens.
What's the score right now?
It's over, and the Clippers have won by 10 points, 118 to 108. Luka put up 44 points, which is tied for fourth most in franchise history. He did not get his rebound and assist, so he did not get a triple-double. Kawhi finished with 36 points, 3 of 5 from 3, and Paul George finished with 29, only 2 of 6 from 3. But they both shot pretty well, 13 of 17 and 11 of 18. So basically what happened is this time the Clippers strategy worked. Their two guys had a big game, which they had to do, and the Mavs supporting cast failed. They floundered. Yeah. Apparently they got under their skin too because I can't see that name.
Who fouled out?
Now someone started chirping the bench. Number 10 for the Mavs, whoever that is. Might be Finney-Smith. If that's a guy on their team. I swear that's what I read. But either way, Luka carried, and his team didn't do enough. So to me, both teams are actually kind of similar in that way, where their stars have to go off, and the bench needs to carry. It's just that the Mavs bench has been better at picking up the slack than the Clippers has, but not tonight. So won't be a sweep, that's for sure. I can't remember in our predictions. I think I said 6. Do you remember what you said?
I got it right here. I said.
I think you said
6 as well. Yep.
So our predictions still happen.
4. Yep.
I think I do think it'll be a tight series though. If they can keep up that play, there's a lot of ifs going on with this series because it's like, will the Mavs bench stay off? Will the Clippers bench heat up? It's a bunch of questions going on. That's the beauty of the NBA playoffs. It's always something to keep an eye on. It's always interesting.
Anything could happen.
There we go.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm trying to think. We talked a little bit about the most improved player and the sixth man. Who else was up for most improved? That's what I want to know. Also, if there's anyone left in the chat, if you got any topics, feel free to comment them. For now, we'll just kind of brainstorm some stuff here. So MVP, we talked about that. We both think it should go to
Jokic, but it'll probably go to Curry.
Do you even know? When do they announce that? Do you know?
I think they'll probably do it when most teams are in the second round. You know what I mean? They probably want to wait till then. Actually, because if it is Curry, when are they going to give it to him?
Yeah, just give it to him now. He's not even. He's home. Here we go. Alex is coming through again. Big three kind of question. You think Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis count as a big three?
I think I would count two of them as a big three. I don't know if Middleton you could consider him a superstar.
This series,
he's definitely a star. Yeah, typically I would say
I'd call them. You know, I'd call them a middle three. That's what I'd call them. Call them medium three. The medium three right there.
They're kind of like a trident. They got one big person, Giannis,
huge star, and
supporters.
Good one. Yeah. I will say their two supporters are better than the Lakers' third best player, but I wouldn't call the Lakers a big three, so they got a big two. It's interesting. It's a huge one and a medium 2 and 3.
I got one kind of question for you about the Lakers' big two. Mm-hmm. What would you say? Do you think they're both top? Do you think both LeBron and AD are both top 5 players in the league?
I don't know if I do that.
Because I remember, I think it was the power rankings before the season started. I mean, Bleacher Report is known to do it, but so did SportsCenter did it too, and so did or I guess ESPN, but ESPN and Yahoo Sports, they all put like AD below 8th, and I'm like, there's no way you can name like 8 players better than AD.
The problem I always have with those rankings is you throw in all the positions together, and to me that's just not fair. Guards always get more love. They put up the points. Oh, real quick, just a fun stat from tonight. The Clippers overcame a 19-point deficit this game. They trailed by 19 at one point. So that Mavs bench failed them, but those stats I talked about, that means your bench guys were just not hitting the threes that they have been.
And they weren't defending.
So the Mavs kind of, honestly, for being honest, I like the team a lot, but they kind of got exposed here a little bit in the fact that they live and die by their three. They just do. They live and die by their bench guys hitting shots. And if they can't do it, they're just not going to be able to do anything. But I have faith they'll bounce back. I imagine it's just an off game. It happens. Sucks to happen in the playoffs, but I think they'll be fine.
For sure.
But I do think I want to talk about Drew Holiday. To me, he's underrated. He just is.
Oh, extremely. I think Drew Holiday's. I'm trying to think of how to word it. I think he's arguably the best guard as a defender. I don't think there's a guard better at defending than him.
And he's putting up points too.
And he's like scoring now. I think he's definitely wasted because that Pelicans team, they should have at least made the playoffs 1 year. There's no way you're telling me fucking.
I guess
Drew
we got
Holiday,
another topic.
Zion.
Did you hear they want to run their new coach out too?
I mean, I wouldn't fucking doubt it. How the fuck do y'all make the playoffs?
The report was
Zion dominating.
The report was the players aren't meshing with this coach either. To be fair, to me, their coach hire was always a dumb hire. I think it was Stan. Is it Stan something? It's like something Van Pelt or something. They hired an old man. They coached this team, and that never made sense to me. You got Zion and young kids on your team, and you hire the old man stuck in like the old basketball ways. It's like, what are you doing? That's not smart. I don't know what they have to do. They just need more, I guess. Like Ingram and Zion aren't enough. They need more.
I think they need either like
they got to draft well,
a big star or like a really good supporting cast.
They're stuck in that.
I think Zion definitely has the potential to become a superstar. Ingram, he's definitely a star.
They're stuck in that small to medium market dilemma, though. Like to me, it seems like the only way they're going to build is through the draft because no one wants to play. Even with Zion there, New Orleans is not a premier free agent destination. Even though I think it should be because New Orleans is a great city, and it seems like a great city.
Yeah, the fans are nice. They seem they're always supporting, and then like
the city's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Alex. Yes, we briefly talked about that. I think they all deserve to get banned. I think it was the right thing to do. I also think the man who spit on Trae Young more severe than just banning. Like that's criminal. Yeah. I think it actually is criminal, just legally.
It has to be. You can't spit on people.
Also, we all know I'm not a huge fear of COVID guy, but I mean it's even worse given the circumstances that you're doing it. But no matter what, it's beyond disrespectful, and it should be illegal. The popcorn one, stupid and uncalled for, but I'm not going to have a meltdown over it like some people have. I don't think he was like his life was in danger or anything.
I do think the Josh parents getting verbally and racially harassed, that's out of pocket too.
Utah, man. Utah keeps disappointing us.
Bro,
Utah, please do better. You're making white people look bad, dude. Stop it. Supposed to all be Mormons and like nice, so stop being racist. Isn't that, I swear it's like the second or third story that's come out about players or fans accusing Utah fans of being racist.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. Utah fans are just like Boston fans. They've had
to come out a bunch of times
so
like
low-key racist.
Yeah, Mitchell but it's so weird, right? Because they love the black players.
They love their own black players,
but no one else is, bro. It's like, come on, guys. Like, chirp players. You can chirp players not racistly. You can normally chirp players. Don't ever chirp parents, bro. That's stupid to me. It always is. I don't care what level it's on. Even if you're playing like Pee Wee, don't chirp the parents, bro. So stupid. You can't do that. It's just let them live. Let them just be in the crowd. Let them enjoy the freaking game without you bothering them, man. They're there to see their kid play. I don't care if they hear you cuss out their son or something, but just don't cuss them out. Yeah. I think certain things you sign up for as a player, verbal abuse, non-racist or like super over-the-top verbal abuse is probably one of them you should expect to have and deal with. But the physical stuff is just you can't. And we talked about that. It's just you can't do that. Simple enough. You ban the guys. If it's too far, you get them in legal trouble, and then you just move on. There's nothing else you can do. So it's been a big story. I just don't know what they want from us. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, how are you? There's nothing you can do. Players like LeBron calling for like I don't know what he was trying to call for. I don't fully understand the tweet he made, but I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're pissed, but like, what else can they do except ban the guy? You want to like post his picture all over the street of Philadelphia and like,
do you know this man?
Get him fired from his job because he poured popcorn on a player. No, it's stupid. Just ban the fan and move on is basically my stance on all of these. Ban, move on. Just make sure he stays banned. That's pretty simple. So they're all boneheads, but I think people are kind of overblowing it a little bit just because they're looking for stories, you know?
I mean, other than maybe the Mavs and Clippers, the Lakers and Suns, I don't really think any of the other series are kind of generating interesting stories.
No, not yet. I think the stories will pick up round 2. Yeah, there's going to be a lot better matchups round 2. I think like all of our predicted matchups seem really fun. Obviously, the biggest one it will be okay. Actually, let's kind of forecast a little bit. What do you think will be the biggest round 2 matchups? Obviously, to me, I'd imagine you think the same. Nets Bucks has to be number 1, right?
For sure, yeah. I can't think of any other series that I'm going to be more excited for.
Yeah, but beyond that, what other round 2 matchups are we looking at? I don't know if you have a bracket put up or anything.
Kind of.
So it'd be Sixers Hawks, which would probably be good, but I don't think
Nuggets and Lakers round 2.
That's one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. It sucks Murray's not there. It would have been even better, but you know.
If the Mavs make it through, if the Mavs make it through, Jazz Mavs that might be a good one. Jazz Clippers might be a good one too.
Jazz versus anyone's kind of underrated because they're just a team that doesn't get talked about a lot, but they're fun to watch. I think.
Mm-hmm. On the East, I mean.
Yeah, Sixers, Hawks.
I mean, Sixers, Hawks, or Knicks, it'll be demolished
Nets,
too.
It's Nets and Bucks. That's huge.
Yeah, Nets and Bucks.
I still imagine the Nets win, but the Bucks have really impressed this playoffs, man. Like, they just have. Yeah. They're not putting their foot. Usually, sometimes you see these teams where if they're up 2-0, their foot kind of comes off the gas a little bit, and they might slip and lose a game or two.
Man.
But Game 3,
not the Bucks. Yeah,
that's running through.
They're trying to make a statement.
Yeah, Jimmy buckets. Buckets. Jimmy miss everything. Jimmy Bricks. There you go.
Jimmy Bricks.
It doesn't work as well as Russell Westbrook, but it's fine. It's fine. Russell's got to do better. Just some of these guys, you're supposed to be the stars of your team. You gotta step up, man.
Yeah.
You
want to make big money, you gotta play big.
Yeah. Don't come find me, Westbrook, and fight me on the street. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to fight you, okay? But I'm not pouring popcorn either. I'm just being verbally disagreeing with you, sir.
Yeah,
okay?
It's kind of crazy because Westbrook looks kind of short on TV, but he's probably, 2 inches taller than us?
I mean, the dude's jacked, too. It's no doubt.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. The only thing that annoys me, this is a random rant. I don't know why, but, like, Westbrook seems like he's one of those guys who, I get him being pissed at fans, but I'm pretty sure he literally is one of those guys who, if he gets criticized by the media, he's one of the players who just say, well, you never played, so what you said is invalid. That just annoys me, man. What do you think about players that do that? You agree with them, or do you think it's kind of stupid where you should be allowed to be criticized by everyone, man?
I kind of see where
we watch the game.
How you can't fully understand because you're not playing, but it's their job to watch. They know what they're talking about.
It's my job to watch you and critique your game. If you go 2 of 14 and I say you have a bad game and you say, well, you never played, it's like, no, you had a bad game, dude. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to think other storylines. The only other thing I could think of is talk about some of the teams that missed the playoffs and what they could do next. But we could always save that for another episode. I always enjoy talking ball. It's always fun, but we've reached an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I think it's time to call the stream.
Yeah, I think we'll give another chance. We'll give a minute for any topics. I'm fine going a little bit longer if anyone has actual topics to talk about. But for now, we'll probably save our topics and come up with some other ones for whenever we can do a next show. I don't know when I'll be able to do one again. We'll have to figure it out because I leave for Texas Tuesday, and then I come back the following Friday. So I'm gone for a week. So we'll see.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe I'll do a stream from Galveston, dude, right on the patio, with the beach behind me. It'll be awesome. I'll definitely follow the series from there, but I won't be able to watch as much probably. I mean, my Pens are already out of the hockey playoffs, so that's always fun.
Oh, your team lost?
Dude, our goalie was so bad. Apparently, statistically, he had the worst goalie performance in the playoffs since 2014. That's why that pissed me off so much because the rest of the team was so good. We outshot the other team every game we lost, and we still lost. I just hope our GM doesn't blow up the team.
I'll see.
I guess one more topic just to wrap this up. So I'll go a little bit longer, make this even more official than it already is, even though obviously we're NBA experts and no one can doubt that. It's so clear. We talked about Stevens leaving the Celtics. Maybe if he does, is there any coach names you could think of that would make sense, like top guys out there who could come coach the Celtics?
I really don't.
Tough, right? I don't know who's available.
If they would have fired him last year, they could have gotten Doc back.
It'd probably be an assistant from somewhere, right? That's the only thing that was if they let Stevens go, I can't think of anyone better out there. That's the thing. So if they actually add another wrinkle to that earlier question we talked about, it might just depend on who's available. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Celtics might just keep him until someone opens up and we want him more, and then they'll fire him.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll fire him and then look for a coach. I think they'll wait for
if they're going to fire him, they got to have someone in mind already.
Lined up. Good to go. You got to find someone. I can't think of any names out there. No one from the college ranks. You know what? Matt, they somehow convinced Duke's coach to go pro or something, but I doubt it. So, all right. We good?
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you get any last words you want in, plug your channel or plug anything you want to.
Go Lakers. And that's about it.
Well,
Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
The bum and A Doofus are going to mess up, okay? It's going to happen. Suns in 7. I still believe. CP3 is going to drop 67.
He's going to get his arm amputated so it doesn't hurt him anymore.
He's going to get it surgically replaced with a robotic arm, and he's going to go off, dude. And the NBA is going to change their mind on suspending LeBron and sorry, we should have suspended you already, and then they'll suspend him for 2 weeks, and then it'll be perfect. I'm still pissed at that, by the way. I'm still salty that LeVert had to be suspended for 14 days, and they didn't even really explain it. And then LeBron, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's fine." It's fine. Piss me off. Well, I guess we'll end it there. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. If you watched this live, I really appreciate it. If you're watching it after the fact, I still appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to BigSliime's channel. It will be in the description again, just like it was last time. You gonna upload again, man? Come on. But slack.
Hey.
I'll upload. It's been 2 months. All right.
I got 3-day weekend. I'll edit a video.
There you go. Let me know when you do, by the way. I'll be there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Of course, we get 3 viewers right when I do my outro. That's All right. Well, once again, yeah, thank you for watching. This has been the Backboard Breakdown, first episode. There we go. Stay tuned. Don't have a set schedule yet, but I can promise you there will be another one of these at some point. It's a great promise right there. And thank you very much. So I'll let you hop out, and then I'll wrap it up, and be good to go. See you. All right, Alex, waving goodbye. Alex, I appreciate you, man, for real. You hopped on the last stream too, and you helped carry the conversations of this. I really appreciate it. Like I said, let me know if you ever want to actually hop on the stream, and I will gladly put you on here with me and Jesus. Seems like a fun thing to do. So like I said, make sure to subscribe, like this stream, please, or video after the fact. It helps a lot. It helps grow this channel. Trying to hit 200 subs. We're actually going in the opposite direction right now from 194 to 193, so that always sucks. But I will bounce back. If anyone has a question, that's fine. I can answer it by myself. I'll give you like 15, 30 seconds just chilling out a little bit before I just fully end it. So like I said, I'm gonna make an NBA playlist so you can actually find this stream, and then the playoff predictions we did last time, they'll be in a playlist together. Finally, it'll probably just be called NBA videos. I might title it Backboard Breakdown now. Also, feel free to comment below me what you think about the show name being the Backboard Breakdown. If you think it's fine, if it's stupid, if it affects your opinion on the show at all, feel free to let me know. Or if you got show name ideas for a basketball NBA related podcast, they'd also be greatly appreciated. So anyways, guys, once again, I will sign out. I'll let Alex rep his football team from the NFC least, and we'll be done from there. All right, guys. This is KMA Preston signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.